How did you get into voice acting in the first place? And what was your career path to where you are today?
I trained as an actor in the UK and in the US, and to make ends meet, I started working as a continuity announcer at a TV station, and I was terrible at it. But I refused to be terrible. This was at a time when we didn't have workshops and webinars and all that kind of stuff to figure out how to work effectively as a voice artist and a voice actor. So I had to figure it out myself. So I listened to people who were amazing and I started copying them and I started figuring out how they did the things they did. And because I'm a singer, I started figuring out what they did with their voices. And from there, I was like, yeah, I can do this. And I trained myself and then I got a voice agent. And then one day I happened to assist a casting director that I know on a job, and she said it's for this game, and then I had to bring lots of people in, and at the end of the day, she went, "Do you want to just want to audition for it? Go on." And I went in the door, and that's how I got the part of Preston Marlowe in Battlefield Bad Company. And that was the beginning of my games career.
Are there any major differences in preparation, execution, sort of practical working conditions to working on games than there is in other voiceover work?
Working in games is quite easy when it comes to at least prep physically, because I don't have to go and sit in a makeup chair. I don't have to go on set and figure out how I'm going to pick up that glass over there and then walk across while not crossing the camera, or making sure that there's a camera crew where I'm gonna be for the rest of the scene. So less rehearsal. That also is the case because the games industry is renowned for being very, very secretive. So you don't get a lot of information before you turn up. So, for example, for a film or a TV audition, I'll get a lot more information. I might even get the whole script for an episode or for the film. But for a game, I'll get a little bit of information about the game, not the name of it. They usually have a secret project name. And then I'll get a bit of a biography and maybe a little picture of my character, and then I'll get some script options. And a lot of times you won't even see what who I'm talking to. You won't even get to see their lines. I'm just out of nowhere have to say these things, and it's up to me to figure out what kind of character, what kind of physicality, what kind of what their hopes and dreams are. So, because of that, I have to create sort of this theater of the mind, as we call it. You go in and you create the scenario. You're not on a set. You are in your booth like I am today, or when you come in and do the job, you're in the vocal booth at a sound studio. If you're doing performance capture or motion capture, you'll be on a volume, as they call it. But at the end of the day, to prepare, you most likely will get the script through the night before, and then or the morning of, you come in and you pretty much are expected to get to work, and that is very scary but very exciting.
Is it more difficult to understand and sort of inhabit the character you're going to be doing the voice work for in a game than it would be in a bit of film work or perhaps audiobook, for example?
A games character can be very, very different to the kind of characters that I get to play on TV and in film. For some reason, casting directors seem to see me as the CIA guy or the assassin guy. And when it comes to games, I get to sometimes play the hero. I get to play a romantic lead, Or a lot of times in my career, I get to play the lead asshole. I hope I'm allowed to swear on this, but I um, I find that um, because I get to play these characters that are almost fantastical, you could say. They are different to a normal human being that I would normally play based on how I look. I get to base it on how I sound and how I can communicate. So I feel that as a voice artist in or a voice actor in video games, I have a broader range than the range that I am allowed to have as as a screen actor.
Do you have sessions with other cast members reading through the scripts, or is this all sort of recorded solo in the booth?
The most difficult part of recording a video game, I feel, is that for the most part, I'm in there by myself. So I don't have the chance to see how what I'm saying is affecting the person or people that I'm talking to, that I'm communicating with. So if I come in and record at the very beginning of a process, there won't be, I won't even know what the people that I'm talking to sound like. If I come in at the end of the process, their lines will usually have been recorded and they'll be in the system so they can actually play them to me. So therefore, I get a chance to interact with their voices. But I have to make my choices based on the choices that they have made. So if they're whispering to me, then I can't yell back unless it's set up for that. Um, because that would just make me look crazy or the person that I'm talking to look or character that I'm talking to look crazy. So it makes it quite difficult because we have to kind of once again use the theater of the mind to create the scene that we're in. And I have to figure out how they feel about me because let's say they've recorded their lines already, and that will have to affect how I feel about them. When I'm doing theater in real terms, when I'm doing film, when I'm doing TV, for the most part, I'm on set or on stage with the other people. And that means that things change based on a slight inflection. And that just isn't the case with games. They will have what's called a select, which is the line that they liked the actor that I'm playing across from. Their that line is the line that they use. They might have an alternative, but they will then have me do a separate take where I talk to that alternative line. So for this project, for example, I was very lucky because I came in very, very late in the process. So everyone else had recorded their lines, and it made my life super easy because I knew exactly how they felt about me, and therefore that informed everything that I had to do. But a lot of times, especially when I'm playing a lead in a game, it'll be me in a room with a performance or a voice director and the team from the developer or the publisher. And they all sit there, and as soon as I've done a take, they'll switch off what's called the talkback, which is the microphone that comes through from their room into mine, and then they'll see them going. And then suddenly they'll come back and go, "That was fantastic, David. But we're wondering if you could do it completely different." And it's my job to find another way to do it. But I love it. It feels like a little puzzle, and my job is to make everything sort of fit together.
Do you tend to watch or otherwise kind of consume the stuff that you work on generally? And will you be doing that with Songs of Silence?
I wasn't really allowed to play games when I was little, and my mother felt that it was going to rot my brain. And look at me now, Mom. Um, so I didn't really play games. I would play some sort of adventure games online, like the old Sierra games and stuff like that. But it wasn't really part of my life until I became a member of BAFTA and BAFTA Games, which meant that I became a voting member of BAFTA. Before that, I would selfishly watch walkthroughs of games to see what I did and if I did a good job, and learned how, from watching the walkthroughs, how to do certain things in games. So emotes and barks and efforts and all that kind of stuff. I learned about all those things by watching other people play these games on YouTube. But now I'm very lucky. I have two consoles, and my next purchase is going to be a Steam Deck. So that means that I'll be able to play this game too.